Have you ever met a child who acts like the responsible adult in the room? Not the loud one, not the messy one, not the one begging for one more chocolate before dinner. I'm talking about the quiet one. The child who reminds everyone to turn off the lights, who says, "It's okay, I understand," more often than any kid should. The one who smiles politely while the adults talk about serious things. And somehow, they feel older than their age. You look at them and think, wow, what a mature child. At first, it sounds like a compliment. Teachers love them, relatives praise them, parents proudly say, "My child is very responsible." And yes, maturity in a child can be beautiful. But sometimes, when a child is too mature, there's a quiet story hiding behind that calm face. A story most people never notice. Let's talk about the psychology of the too mature child. You probably know one. The 10-year-old who sits quietly while adults discuss problems. The 12-year-old who comforts their friends when they cry. The kid who always says, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." And somehow, they are always fine. Or at least, that's what they say. One of the biggest signs of a too mature child is responsibility arriving far too early. Most kids worry about homework, cartoons, or which friend took their pencil. But a too mature child might worry about things like, is mom stressed today? Did dad look tired? Maybe I should help more. It's like their childhood skipped a level. While other kids are playing a simple game, they're already playing life on hard mode. And honestly, from the outside, it looks impressive. But inside, it can feel heavy. Imagine being 9 years old and already feeling like you need to keep everything together. Like if you stay calm, maybe the world around you will stay calm too. It's like being the emotional Wi Fi router of the house, making sure everyone stays connected. And routers never get thanked. Another interesting thing about these kids is how quiet their struggles are. They rarely throw tantrums, they rarely scream, they rarely demand attention. In fact, they might be the easiest child to raise. Teachers say, "Oh, they're such a good child." Neighbors say, "I wish my kids behaved like that." But here's the part people often miss. Sometimes easy kids are not easy because life easy for them. They're easy because they learned very early that their problems should stay small. A too mature child becomes very good at reading emotions. They can sense tension in a room faster than a weather app detects rain. You know how some kids walk into a room and immediately ask, "Is there food?" A too mature child walks in and quietly wonders, "Is everyone okay?" It's almost like having a tiny therapist in the house. Except therapists usually get paid. These kids do it for free, and they do it silently. Another strange thing? Too mature children sometimes skip the messy kid phase. You know the phase. Cutting their own hair because they thought it looked cool, drawing on the wall like it's a museum canvas, wearing a superhero cape to the grocery store. Normal kid chaos. But a too mature child often stops themselves. Not because they don't want to, but because there's a little voice in their head saying, "Be sensible." Imagine being 8 years old and already having an inner accountant. Fun activity detected, but is it responsible? Now, here's the surprising part. Too mature children are often incredibly kind. They help siblings without being asked. They comfort friends. They share their things. They become the emotional support system for everyone around them. Basically, they become the nicest person in the room. But sometimes kindness becomes their armor. Because once you are known as the good kid, people expect you to always stay strong. No drama, no breakdowns, no complaints, just calm, helpful, and mature. It's like the world quietly gave them the role of the strong one. And once you get that role, it's hard to step out of it, even when you're tired, even when you're hurting. Another small detail you might notice: too mature kids apologize a lot, even when something isn't their fault. Friend forgot homework? Sorry. Sibling broke something? Sorry. The dog knocked over a plant? They somehow still look guilty. It's like they downloaded the software called emotional responsibility for everyone. But here's the truth: a child should never feel responsible for the emotional weather of the entire house. Kids are supposed to be messy, loud, silly, confused, curious, sometimes dramatic over the smallest things, crying because the cookie broke in half, laughing for 10 minutes over absolutely nothing. That chaos is childhood. And when a child grows up too fast, sometimes they miss pieces of that chaos. The interesting thing is, many of these children grow into incredibly thoughtful adults. They become the friend who truly listens, the person who understands emotions deeply, the one who can walk into a room and instantly feel what others are going through. In many ways, they develop a powerful emotional intelligence, but there's something they often have to learn later in life: how to relax, how to say, I need help, how to admit, I'm not okay today. Because when you spend years being the strong one, asking for support can feel strange, almost like breaking a rule no one ever explained. And maybe that's the quiet tragedy of growing up too mature. You learn how to care for everyone, but no one teaches you how to care for yourself. And that's why the most important thing we can remember is this: a mature child is not a problem. Some children are naturally thoughtful and responsible. That's beautiful. But every child deserves space to be a child too, to laugh loudly, to make mistakes, to be silly, to cry over small things, to be a little ridiculous sometimes. Because childhood isn't meant to be perfect, it's meant to be human. So the next time you see a child who seems too mature, who always says, I'm fine, who never asks for much, maybe pause for a moment. Maybe ask them how they really feel. Maybe remind them that they don't always have to be the strong one. Because sometimes the bravest thing a child can do is simply allow themselves to be a kid.